Yo, what's good? Sci-Fi Express Lane. Man, expressing yourself is a form of emotional outlet, right? So it's going to go without saying that I am a man with emotion, right? So to feel emotion, you got to be sensitive. So this is my Kickstarter relief post, right? So Kickstarters are crowdfunding campaigns, and Kickstarter is really good at getting campaigns for getting comic books funded, comic book projects funded. You can try anything. They do board games. They do now they're doing a lot of animation on there. I don't know how well they are, but I had tried to do an Indiegogo with this same project, and I only got $25. So I couldn't get the money. You had to make a little bit more than $25 for them to send you any money. But anyway, I got over 1,600 on Kickstarter, and I did a short campaign. I did a 20-day campaign, mostly because I want to get this book out by March, and Kickstarter takes about 15 days to get you your money, and then my printer has been backed up for a while, so I think it's going to take my printer a minute. So I want to try to get my next Kickstarter up and running by April. So I wanted to knock this one out. I didn't need to go to a full 30 days or any longer. And I made it, 5 Kickstarters under my belt. I started off out the box great. My first Kickstarter was Horror Streets, and I got a really cool cover from Thailand, and I put the goal up for $500. If you know me, or if you know me recently, I've become very modest, and I think I've always been humble, but I'm a very modest person. I shortchanged myself. Anyway, I did $500, and it made $1,600, right? Somewhere around there. No, it might have made $1,100. I'm not sure. And I should have had these figures, because this is a good way to give out some good information. But anyway, if you talk to me at a booth, I wouldn't remember anyway. So it did about $1,100, say 12, and that looked good. I mean, it was like 250% of my goal, but my goal was low. Then I did Planet of Kebulan. Planet of Kebulan, I came in with the hardcore marketing approach, started saying, Black Planet, all that good stuff. Planet of Kebulan, I'm going to say, went 3,000. It was my highest one. Then I came in with Horror Streets, Halloween Wars, and my illustrator, I must say, I'm going to blame it on the illustrator, because when you see the illustrations that the illustrator's doing, it certainly would have helped the project. However, my illustrator got hit with COVID, and it was my first time. He was only doing like 5 or 10 pages for me, really short amount. It was a preview, but it was really good, and hired the artist over Fervor, and I was like, yo, let's see what's up. And I should have waited until the artwork was finished to do it, but anyway, I made a $2,500 goal, and I only made $1,400, and I think I had 5 days left or something, and I just let it run out, because I was like, damn, I'm not making $700. My experience was I'm not making $700 on a Kickstarter in a couple of days. Now the downside was I left $1,400 on the table. Some of those people owed me money, and I was cashing in. Said, yo, don't give me the money, put it on the Kickstarter. And I don't even think I went back and recollected those debts. It was rough. It was like right when I started working in school, because life comes into play, right? So I was working back and started teaching again, and it was just like, oh man. And then, and I thought, put your project up and people will find it and people will fund it. And they do, but you have to stand on your grind. So that was my third Kickstarter. So I pulled that down, or let it die. And that was in October, November, right? I think it ended in November. Anyway, I waited all the way until April, and I had this comic book done for a long time, but I wanted to do a preview for the next comic in there, because I'm always looking ahead. So Twa-Man launched, I think, in May or April, right? And that, I think I did 2,000, and I think that made 2,500, or definitely made its goal, so it made a little bit more. And that was a relief, but I started doing better advertisement. The grind for Twa-Man was high. Now, don't get me wrong. Excuse me. The grind for Horror Streets was phenomenal. It's the Black Headless Horseman versus the Black Leprechaun. Now, Twa-Man is the Black Leprechaun, but I hadn't introduced him yet. So now that I have Twa-Man, I'm going to revisit Horror Streets Halloween Wars in September. So hopefully I'll get there. Anyway, I did Twa-Man. I had a preview for Fingernails. Now the preview was done by another illustrator out of Spain, and the Fingernails was going to be illustrated by Manuel Shu out of Dominican Republic, and he was hit by COVID as well. And that comic book was supposed to be what I did before Horror Streets, because the story has the Black Leprechaun in there as well. And I wanted to introduce him. Anyway, the Halloween Wars was a cool introduction as well. Anyway, I then followed up Twa-Man, and it probably took me a minute to rehabilitate my emotions. So I made a successful campaign. Then I said, damn, this was my big one that was going to take me to $10,000, $20,000, at least make $5,000, right? And have me really make some profit in this game. But Fingernails didn't. Fingernails delivered, made its goal, but even with that, it depended heavily on my advertisement pages in my book. Planet Keeperline funded itself. We got over 100-something backers. Twa-Man and Fingernails was around the 40s. So I'm like, dang. So anyway, I let that ride. Then I did the Indiegogo, because Fingernails was young adult, and people would always ask me, oh my God, what you doing for kids and these young people? So Fingernails, I really over created, and I actually created a coloring book, an activities book with it, and a board game. And I was like, man, this is really going to be different. And I went, crafts version board game, where you make the players and you cut out the dice and stuff like that. And I like it, and played it a couple of times. I keep saying I'm gonna take it to the bar and play it when we have drinks, but I forget to do that. Anyway, it works, and now I still can promote it. So then the next one, there was Horror Streets Future Sex. That was the one that became Cyber Funk Streets on Indiegogo in September. That died. That made no money. It was getting nothing, no traction, same promotion, Facebook and all that, nothing. So I scrapped it up, and I actually went deeper and got the illustrator who did Cyber Bay to illustrate 2 more robots for me as giveaway posters, because I wanted to give some more stuff away. And then the other robots started making it look really hot, so I decided to write a 2-page short preview and give the robots their own storyline. And that took me past winter break. I caught the flu, I thought it was COVID, never tested positive. Slowed me down a little bit. I was down for the whole winter break, but that was a significant period because I wanted to get work done over the break, and then it pushed me right back to when school started. So now I'm working evenings and weekends again. So I got it out around Martin Luther King weekend. They approved it, and Cyberfunk, I changed the name, Cyberfunk, which gives me a little touch at a different genre than just calling it horror. Although, you know, Ass Doctor is a horror story, all three of the stories are cyberfunkish. They take place in the future, and there's wild stuff going on. So that made its goal, but when I was thinking of it, I was like, man, what goal should I set it? Because now I'm humbled, right? I cranked through Fingernails in 2000. I was like, man, let's see. So Cyberfunk was an adult, or is an adult themed comic, although there's no nudity in it and it only has a couple of curses. It does deal with adult themes. So I felt a little backlash from that. Although everybody loved the cover, black people are a little too conservative for even a naked robot on the cover. You know, Cyber Bay is hot. They love it, but I don't know if they're ready to buy something like that. So Cyberfunk, I think, pulled in about 30, 25 supporters, heavily dependent on ads and illustrations. I'm still selling ads, although it made its budget, right? So that's where I'm at. Now, the cool thing was the nightmares that I had going through Halloween Wars were nothing in comparison, right? So the nightmares and sleeping and stress that I went through in previous Kickstarters, I did a little bit in Cyberfunk. Kind of once I figured out, you know, keep going for the Cyberfunk community, the cyberpunk community, it started to turn. I started to post pictures of other things that was cyberpunkish, and I found the marketing angle. And that's kind of, you know, I guess the biggest thing. Every project has similarities in its packaging, but they're all sort of different. Now, my next Kickstarter is going to be part 2 of Planet of Kibulan, and hopefully I'll get part 3 out by December. And then I'm finishing up the last Harlemite, and I have another one. I have no idea when it's going to be finished. Halloween, right? Halloween. So I don't know, but that's where I'm at, guys. So I'm elated, rejoiced, thankful that this 5th Kickstarter project made its goal. Made $1,687 over $1,500, and it's still dependent on advertisement pages, but I was prepared for that. So that's the difference. And I timed it. So shout out to Stanley Neron, to Maria, and my wife for jumping in and helping out. But everybody, but that really helped me push things along. So that's that. Have no idea, you know, what the difference is between the projects. I just know there's differences. Maybe the times of the year impacted. I've got, you know, more energy for Kickstarter, so I'll be doing more of them. But that's it. I just wanted to do a little Kickstarter wrap up. Hit me with your questions. Kickstarter is the first place I ever made profit off of my comic books, and it continues to contribute to my break-even number. All right, and pull me out of the red and into the black. All right, peace.